We are back with another Car Meet Garage. We're out here in Pinconning at Dave Gray's shop, which is the shop of
failed obscure cars from Eastern Bloc countries.
from Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah.
But thanks for having us, sir.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
So we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to ask you, what was your very first car?
Oh, it was a good one. I was 15 years old, a couple months away from my 16th birthday, and I had a bug up my ass to get a car. So I found one in the newspaper. You know, newspapers, remember those? And it was a 66 Buick Riviera, 73,000 miles, and except for one little rust spot on it, mint. Bought the thing for $230. And as I said earlier, a 16-year-old with a 425 cubic inch nail head motor under the hood is a bad thing. Yeah, I wrecked it.
You'll have that on the big jobs.
Yep.
So it's an interesting first car. It is. It's cool.
Yeah, it was. I remember putting $1 or 75 cents in it at a time so I could drive to a friend's house, because that's all I had. I mean, I was in high school.
Yeah, but you're old enough that 75 cents probably filled that.
It was like $1. It was like $1.15, $1.30 a gallon back then. It was a price hike. When you're making $2 an hour, that's a lot of money.
In a gas hog.
In a gas hog.
It's all right.
I put paint in there and it wants to go to school. Ruined the carburetor.
Well,
but it made it. It ran.
What are your current projects that you have going on right now?
Okay, a couple of things here. I got my 88 Yugo GVX that everybody's seen in the Car Meet group. I drive it daily. I race it in rallycross, blah, blah, blah. In a constant state of repair and upgrade on that. My other project is I've got an 87 Yugo GV that's just a shell, and I would like to turn that into a rallycross car so I can take my GVX and restore it and just use that as a street queen. But the 87, I'm in the engineering phase right now, but I'd like to make it all-wheel drive. I have a Thunderbird turbo coupe motor in the back with a Beaupart racing head with big valves in it. I'm hoping with some massaging to get like 300-400 horse out of it.
More power, baby. You fun a little.
So Yugo GV, 400 horsepower, 4-wheel drive for rallycross, so off-road fun.
Right. Mm-hmm. It'll be a monster.
Yeah, I want to make it streetable. But like I said, I'm in the engineering stage right now. I'm not quite sure what driveline components I'm going to use. Do I want a live axle? Do I want fully independent? Do I want drive shaft disconnect so I can do a front wheel drive burnout, rear wheel drive burnout?
I've seen that in the DS7s, they have a switchable T case. It's kind of neat. But
yeah, that's not an isolator. That's that's because they're 4-wheel drive. Yeah. And they run a differential in the transfer case so you can drive on the street. Oh, if you want some traction, it'll lock that out. You'll have true 4-wheel drive.
Oh, okay.
I had an Audi 4000S that was like that. It was just a center diff, vacuum switch, lock it out. You're in 4-wheel drive. Because if you drove it on dry pavement, locked, you drove like crap.
Yeah, because I know the DS7s, the all-wheel drive, you sent them out to like Shep Racing, I think it was, and they would install a switch on the T case that you have to get underneath there. It's a big old hard switch.
Yeah, something like that. I wanted to do a twin stick on the other Yugo where I could isolate front and rear, but that's hard to find, those transfer cases, and they're cast iron and they're heavy. So that's why I might go with the drive shaft isolator. We'll see. The plan changes daily with what I can do.
It's like most other projects. I mean,
yeah, it's going to take me years to build this car because I work in slow motion now.
No, you're all getting older.
Well, yeah, I'm telling you, every day I wake up is a bonus day.
That is also true. Mm-hmm. What's your 5-year plan?
With my health issues and my age, I really don't have a 5-year plan. I'm going to hopefully build this other Yugo and just see what happens. I don't think I'm going to be taking on any more big projects anymore. I think I'm just going to be working with what I got and improving. And, you know, I don't know is the honest answer.
Yeah, I think the two Yugos, you seem pretty happy. Every time you talk about them, you spice up a little bit.
Well, like I said, I really enjoy redheaded stepchild cars. I've never, ever followed the crowd when it comes to cars. And besides, with two Yugos, I own like 90% of the Yugos in the state.
That are still alive.
Well, one is.
Right. Well, yeah, one.
One is. Yeah, the other one's in the driveway.
Right. We've seen it when we're pulling in, and even Greg's like, that's pretty cool. I also saw that about the wagon, too.
Yeah, I just sold that. That's going bye-bye on Thursday. And I'm having a hard time keeping up with all my projects. And I hit a deer with that last year, and I just kind of lost interest in it with other problems I had. I had an alternator go full field, and it cooked a lot of the electrical.
Ooh.
And I haven't been able to keep up with it. And I got a guy that is into foreign stuff, and he's been bugging me to buy it. I'm like, okay, you win. You can have it.
Right. There's actually a couple people like that are in the area. Because I know like Jake Markell's one, and there's a couple other guys that are on our page that they're all into the European. That's what they do.
Yep. And, you know, so I'm happy to see it go to him. He's going to clean it and sell it. You know, that's what he does. And I hope he makes money on it.
Yep.
I've had it 8 years, 7 years.
You've had it for a minute.
And, you know, it's been a riot. It was my daily driver, you know, for years when I lived in Auburn. But when I moved up here and I started driving 50 to 100 miles a day, I couldn't afford to feed it.
Yeah. It's a hungry piggy.
Yeah. Well, now I got a really cool turbo car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Super cool turbo car. 2015 Sonic 1.4 turbo.
Hey, you know, they could be fun.
It's actually not a bad car.
Yeah.
It's not a fun car. It's just an A to B car. It's even with the turbo on it, it's nothing to write home about. It runs out of breath on the highway. I think this thing would kick its ass on the highway. It's true.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Sorry about your luck, Sonic guys.
Yeah. Now, with a stick, it might rip, but with automatic in it, it's just.
Yeah. Just like
I got it for the mileage. I don't care. You know.
So, what are your goals for 2025?
Well, once again, I would like to start the fabrication process on my GV. I'm really engineering it in my head right now. I'm thinking of running S10 components for driveline along with Ford transmission transfer case. I'm going to have to narrow the rear end. I think I can narrow the front of an S10. On the right side, you got that axle tube with the interlock. I'm sure I can cut that down and make it work for the wheelbase. I'll probably start hand building the suspension for it.
I've seen you do some pretty crazy stuff in the past.
Yeah. Well, we all know about the Metro.
Well, yeah, we all know about the Metro.
Yeah. Sorry, I was having flashbacks when I.
Oh no, you're good. Like before the interview, when Greg was telling me who we were doing this weekend, I was like, "Yeah, Dave had the big lifted Metro that was around for years that was doing all the mud bog stuff." And
it was fun, cool. But I got tired of checking the oil and changing the motor because every time you dip it in the mud, you ruin something. And it was a lot of fun, but I was working on it constantly because, you know, when you mud bog and you are almost stuck, you develop a bloodlust and you're like, fuck this thing, I'm going to get out of here. And you cook motors and everything else doing that.
I told him to be careful, and the fucking first thing he does, he runs her into the mud. He's sitting there just gunning it, spinning the fucking tires, burning the engine out of it. The thing's probably fucked at this point.
You know, and then you just hose it down, fix it, do it again. Yeah. It was a lot of fun for a long time.
That's part of the fun of it. So is there any mods that you regret doing to any of the cars that you've built?
There are no mods that I regret.
No regret.
I've failed to build a couple cars where I had to give up on them and get rid of them. But, you know, I went in there and I tried. It was a failure. You dust yourself off, you carry on. So I don't regret anything. I've built some stuff that's really, really fun. Metro again. I had a Suzuki Swift GT that I built into a full-on autocross car. Lots and lots and lots of fun. You know, I
like the show too that you had.
Well, the show is probably, if you were to ask that question, that SHO was by far my favorite driver car. One of the fastest I've ever driven. Yeah. You know, with the bottle of goodness that you installed, that was a 12.7 car, high 12.7, 12.78, something like that is my best on the bottle on that car. But, you know, Ford, you know, they love building strong engines and putting dog crap transmissions behind them.
Yeah, it happens.
And between that and rust, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to get rid of it.
So what's the best mod that you've ever done?
Best or funnest? You know,
You can go either way. Fun is best.
the Metro is probably the best modified vehicle I ever built, because I built that from the ground up. I started with a CJ7 frame and put everything where I wanted it. You know, so that was probably the best example of what I can do. Probably the funnest mod was once again that nitrous on the SHO,
yeah,
because
nitrous is always fun.
I spanked so many people on the road with that thing.
Yep, I know you're having fun with it.
Oh, that car would do almost 150 miles an hour flat out. So not on nitrous, of course, but
Right.
you know, just that 3-liter twin cam motor was just insane. Love it. I wish I had another one.
They're out there. They're fun. They're getting a little pricey for nice models, but
Yeah. So
because Zach's got one, right? Yeah, he's got two of them. 1, 2, something like that. I don't know.
the problem with an SHO is you can't get a limited slip for it at a reasonable price. One, they're old iron,
Right.
and 2, they're expensive. So you got traction issues all the time when you're launching. So I got some pictures of the drag strip. Maybe I'll send you one or something like that. It was just at the starting light type stuff.
Some pictures we like.
Yeah, say it was. I don't have time slips or anything like that. You have to take my word for it. Say I'm full of crap, but
I don't believe you.
you know, it was a high 13, like 1390, low 14 car
So you also
off the
ran
bottle.
it at Thunder on the Strip.
Yeah, that was a good day, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
I won every round.
Yep.
I not necessarily had the fastest car there. I just got lucky on who
Yep.
got matched up with me. Yeah, that car was running good that day.
Yep.
Real good.
What is the most overrated mod that's going around that you feel right now?
Does it have to be a performance mod?
No.
I hate those goddamn glow lights. Under lights and all that.
Sorry, Greg.
I'm entitled.
That's all right. You're in touch.
I didn't say you had to
Yeah.
stop. I said I hated them.
So, is there any vehicles that you regret selling?
My SHO, I could have fixed it, but that was in the time period where I was really ill and I didn't have any money, and I just bagged it.
Sometimes it's don't want to say it's a matter of opportunity, but it's
Well, I just didn't have the means. I did not have the means to fix it or anything like that. That was a time in my life where I was down and out,
Yeah.
you know, between divorce and what happened and all that other, I couldn't afford to pay attention, you know, so I was in deep survival mode.
Is there any vehicles you regret buying?
I've had so many vehicles. I mean, I've probably had at least 100 over the years. What car did I think was a raging piece of shit and I hated? No, I'm going to say no. I have no regrets at anything I bought.
You have no regrets?
That's all right.
Because, yeah, some of them were magnanimous turds, but I got some value out of them somewhere. And if I didn't like them, I sold them.
It's a pretty positive attitude about it.
You know, yeah, I just... I buy cars because I like cars, and some things will catch my eye and you think it's really cool, and it turns out it's a bucket of crap.
What was your inspiration to get into the hobby?
My father. My dad was a car guy, and he wasn't to the level any of us are, but he tinkered with cars and he liked fast cars and motorcycles and stuff like that. And I idolized my dad when I was young, and I always loved going out in the garage and helping Dad piss around with cars and things like that. And then when I started driving, he helped me, and it was fun to bond with my father over a common interest. So, yeah, I'm going to most definitely say my father is the one that got me involved in cars, and then I just ran with it.
It's a good start. That's where a lot of us all started.
Yeah.
My dad. I think Greg follows pretty close to the same path. What is your best, most positive automotive memory?
Can I inject a motorcycle into this?
Oh, dude, we're motorsports, man. Anything
Okay.
you want.
I had a 1976 Kawasaki Z1900 that I built into a full-on drag bike. I got a faded picture I can show you here when we're off camera, if you can tell what it is. And my dad who was in his later years and kind of ill. This was in the 90s. Liked to come out to Milan Dragway and take pictures of me at the drag strip on this motorcycle. The bike wasn't quite into full-on drag race yet, but I had wheelie bars on it. And the first time I ever competed, I took second place, and my father went ape shit. So that was pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of that moment.
And that helps you keep in the hobby.
Yeah, my dad was my biggest champion when it come to drag bikes. He didn't really give a crap about my cars, but he thought it was just cool as shit that I had a drag bike.
I mean, it is neat.
It was pretty cool, but I had to sell it. The thing was running 10 O's, and I was at Ubley Dragway, and the left lane, inside lane of the left lane was notorious at the traps for being bumpy. And I had a 7-inch wide slick on it. It was poked, stroked, raked, lowered, the whole 9 yards. And it did this routine. Yeah. The back wheel was hopping, and the only thing you can do in that situation is ride it out, because if you hit the brakes, you're going to kiss the dirt.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, when that bike was doing that, I saw God, and he was pissed. So I never raced again. I sold the bike.
See, Dave gets God. We could just, like they say, guardian angel. Dave got God.
Yeah, up close and personal, he's like, you're a dumbass. So I sold it, because I became afraid of it. I mean, the bike was an absolute riot. First launch in the spring, I would about soil myself. It launched so hard, but yeah, it was a good looking bike too. I put a lot of effort in that, but yeah, I miss it, but I'm old now. I don't want to take the risk.
Yeah. So when you take a motorcycle to a track like Ubley, Milan, something like that, what is because you've been to both with car and bike.
Yep.
What is the difference in staging? Because this conversation doesn't really come up
with a motorcycle. You want to get the back tire where the grip is, all right, in the old tire. So you never go in the middle for two reasons. All right, there's not as much grip there, and there's oil there.
And you got the crown too.
There's not much crown. It doesn't really make much of a difference when you launch. The big thing there, like I say, is left or right lane. There's no right or wrong. It's whatever you feel is the right way to go. Now, once you're gone, it's okay to run in the middle. But I tended to do inside lane 99% of the time because whatever. That's what I did.
Right, just your preference.
Well, I like to be close to the light.
Yeah.
When I was doing that stuff. So, yeah, there's no rules regarding it. I mean, if you want to be an idiot, you can launch in the middle. Right. If the Mopar ahead of you, barfed and they cleaned it up, you're running the risk.
Right.
And I like Mopars, guys. Don't get me on that.
No, you're right. Some people do. Some people don't.
I like anything. I'm a car guy. I don't care if it's made in Japan. I don't care if it's made in America or made in Sweden. I like cars. And I like fast cars. And I like weird cars.
That is absolutely evident.
I can go to the Henry Ford Museum. I know way too much about many of the vehicles there. And I better wear Depends because I'm going to soil myself every time I see something new. I love the Henry Ford.
What is your dream car?
No, I've been waiting to tell you this.
Yeah. You
Ever
weren't talking on the phone when I
No, because I wanted the surprise. I wanted to make this kind of fun because I am a weirdo and I do weird things. My dream car, and I seen two of these when I was a kid, two different locations. I've been in both of them. Or no, I've been in one and bopped around in it. My dream car is the mid-60s German-built Amphicar 770, a car that does 7 knots in the water, 70 miles an hour on land, and does neither well. And we had torrential rains one time. I was like 14 or 15, and the neighbors like, come on. And we rode around in all these flooded areas, and we had to use the props and everything else to get around. And, that's just my holy grail of stupid and weird. I got to have one. It's never going to happen because they're $100,000 cars, even in bad condition. And they only imported 2,800 of them. They were built in Germany for the U.S. market, and there's
a pretty new one.
And the rust buckets.
I'm glad you didn't tell me because it is.
I will go gay full time, and nothing wrong with the gay people. You guys are all right, but I will do that. I will change gender if I could have an Amphicar. Gladly.
Start using the they them pronouns.
Nah, just give me some lipstick. I'll do it. Get the car in the driveway. I'll get the lipstick.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, that's a cool car. That's
Man.
another. Not can I inject another car?
Yeah, absolutely.
Another cool car I had, blast. I had a 1960 Nash Metropolitan.
Pretty cool car.
They're very small.
Yeah, very, very small.
This one was kind of a POS. I literally drug it out of the woods, and it had more Bono on it than car. But I got it running, got it stopping, drove it around for a while. And the fun part about that, I'm not overly tall. I'm only 6 foot, but the car is so small. People would follow me into the gas station or the store or whatever. I get out of the car and they're like, "How'd you fit in there?" It's like, well, I guess I did.
Carefully.
And the problem with that car is the windshield was really low because the roof curved down and then it met the windshield. So when you were the first one with the light, you had to go like this to see if the light changed or not. But yeah, cool car.
Car problems.
Yeah, I sold it. I was working on my pilot's license and it takes a lot of money to fly, and I sold it so I could get more money to work towards my goal.
That's all right.
The odd thing is I sold it to another pilot, so hopefully he made it work because that was a cool car. I would buy another one in a heartbeat tomorrow if I could afford it.
It's definitely a neat car. I like them. I seen one for sale not that long ago over in
They're common.
Bangor Township.
They can be had at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Someday. It's not like I got any shortage though.
Well, yeah. Walking up, you never have had a shortage of vehicles.
No, that's true.
So,
That's true. Sure. I've always had, like I said, an empire of filth. I just like stuff.
We all like
but
stuff.
I got to justify something. You guys, I call myself a car guy, and I am, but I'm also a machine guy. Science museums, mechanical museums, anything with a shitload of spinny parts and an exhaust stack just fascinates me. When I had my shop, I used to work on vintage tractors and equipment, stuff like that. I was in heaven on that stuff because those guys never argued about the price and they just wanted it fixed right. And the tractors are built so robust, you can't hardly kill them. So that was, I miss that part of my business is working on that stuff.
If you want to keep up to date on Dave's projects, his many Eastern European junk piles.
I got Eastern European, I got German, I've got American. The Sonic's built in Brazil, so I'm going to take the South American market. Whatever.
His worldly cars.
My worldly cars. I love all the cars nobody wants.
Right. He does. You can catch him at the Bay City Car Meets sometimes on the weekends, and he's always out. He's out racing. He does do stuff a lot.
Yeah, I do. I go out like once a month to do some rallycross stuff, and
yep, you're having fun with him, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do want to thank you for having us, Dave.
No problem.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.